Testing. One, two, 1, 2. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Today's video, I'm going to point out the way the modding of events and data and various multipliers and variables and the way they affect things as they operate in the game. Alright, real quick, it's June 18th, 1936. So, I know that the Spanish Civil War is coming, so I'm actually starting to put together a small army detachment, Spanish Expeditionary Force for that purpose, and I've already got my Atlantic Fleet of what's established of it at this time off the coast of Portugal, because I know what's going to happen. But you know, these are things that are implemented in the game now that I'm preparing for. Since the last video, I did a quick restart because I wanted to add some new things, features. I had to set up sea piers, various locations that I missed because a while ago I altered the the existing sea pier into a river pier, which has no reserve capacity, and it's not a dock to unload. It's just a map marker and a supply boosting facility, more or less to increase the supply to specified location to simulate incoming trade and commerce at various locations, because as I was reading about various locations in the past, I came to realize that that's a pretty common facility at various locations that make various locations unique and more beneficial to have on the map than others. So I felt as though I wanted to make that function to a degree in the game, so that's how the river pier functions. The sea pier is the same as a port. It's costs less, but you can use it as a dock to unload, but you can't establish a naval production center at a pier as opposed to a port. And further to that, you got the industrial shipyard, which is optimal for shipbuilding because it carries a better supply boost with it too, which will aid in construction efficiency and supply efficiency of the ships that it deploys. So you could build a shipyard at a port, and a port can be built anywhere there's access to the open sea, or on an industrial shipyard hex, or a military facility hex. I will find that further later. See pier, I forgot to add a reserve capacity to that. I wanted to, so I could reserve a small naval garrison at each sea pier location, like Helgoland, which I just recently added to the map, and various you can call them ports, but they're piers along the coast, and I've done that for everybody. I've given them their sea piers at various locations where it makes sense, and I've adjusted the inland to the river piers, and I got them all. But I still have to implement that reserve cap to make these as useful as they should be, in that of being able to hold a small reserve capacity. So I will do that for the next time, and done some more work on my trees. I'm currently working on these pines, getting them finished up to not only effectively blend at the mid-height with the dense forest trees, coloration, opacity, and overall look, because they're both dense forest hills to a degree. Dense forests are more dense than the forest. Forests have more pines and whatnot. These are getting there pretty soon. Otherwise, the USSR is no longer interested in Franz Joseph Land. There's no longer a line of units getting stuck in northwestern Russia, which is great. That's because of those hotspots, the startup hotspots, the garrison hotspots. Garrison meaning land units will garrison a location, as opposed to actually setting a garrison down here in the garrison selector, which is a unit that will be fixed in place at that location. You can't maneuver them. They just garrison that hex. That's going great. I'm very happy about that. It makes the USSR's timeline of events more streamlined, because the units that will be required to respond to various events that are in the CSV now will be available within a reasonable proximity to where they have to go. Alright, I've also done various other things because I have so much data written for like the USSR and Italy and the United States. I've implemented various things, like I've locked out minister authority and operation of military units, and I've set centralized command and control, and I've set that to locked at the beginning of the scenario, and then I unlock it at the end of what should be the end of World War II, approximately in that time frame for each country as well. So then the AI will start taking back over and doing various things of a more random nature, as opposed to a historical nature. That has helped, I think. I mean, these countries operate much more effectively according to history than others that I haven't really touched yet. So I'm pretty sure that has the impact that I wanted it to have. I've also modified people data. I've set various initiatives of various ministers. Like Joseph Stalin has a moderate initiative, but then I have the primary initiative multiplier in the gov type that is set very low. So in other words, they won't take initiative to do random shit. They will just follow what their data prompts in the CSV order them to do, for the most part. And centralizing the command and control means that the Armed Forces Minister won't do any of this shit. It all has to come from the top. It all has to come from Stalin or Mussolini in Italy's case, or FDR in the United States, and Churchill in the UK, and so on and so forth for everybody else. That setup seems to be working great as far as keeping the map riding the parallel of history to a fairly good degree. Alright, so those are working. Getting ready for Spanish Civil War, which still isn't 100% done, but it works really good. If you take it as you should, and that of being an expeditionary force of Spain and naval patrols and whatnot, similar to the investment that Germany made in regard to the play out of historical events, then you will have a moderate challenge to tend to aid Franco in his efforts to establish nationalist government, and that runs out of steam in my games usually around like early, like mid 1938 now. I can usually effortlessly polish off what remains of Anzana and the Republican Spain by taking a few key cities and dropping the morale incredibly low. So I do have to add some more functional orbats for both Republican and Nationalist Spain to make that action increase, and also to increase the realism of the way that the war will come to a close, which is supposed to be 1939. Japan is doing wonderful. Manchukuo also doing pretty well. I'm going to get these guys more involved. They had a pretty significant armed forces, and more or less they were autonomous under Asan Pui throughout the course of the time that Manchuria or Manchukuo was existing under the aid and influence of the Japanese Empire. Japanese China, Nanjing, China should work well this time around. They should come to come into the map and into the game's play. I don't really have any long-term data written for them yet, but I do have the leader profiles defined. Wang Jingwei will govern that. Bose will eventually not be the starting minister, but he will be the head of the Indian nationalist army. I think like 40,000 strong. They were very good, very effective, very useful as an armed forces in India that was allied to the Axis. Essentially, it was a functional government, which was primarily based within occupied Burma. And they were significant contributors to the Second World War effort in India, and that will eventually come into play. So he will be removed from the starting leadership profile for India, and he will be seated to the nationalist India. That will be a much smaller but still significant factor and faction within India during World War II as a whole. India is going to be exciting to write because they got a whole lot of data that's going to make this game a whole lot more interesting by putting it into the CSV. I'm saving them right now because I'm going to have to spend some significant time reworking their infrastructure to a degree, finishing the terrain, polishing off their units, their build queue, and event system is going to be very exciting to write, and I'm excited to do that. As well as the Royal West African Frontier Force, that's going to be pretty exciting to write too. They'll actually happen in India, as well as detachments from East Africa, but the Royal West African Frontier Force will come into play in the East Asian campaigns as well. That's going to be a fun set of data to implement into the game. Okay. I gotta get going. I gotta go to the gym today. Um, I want to play this a little more later today. I got to set up some work, some small jobs for the near but not immediate future. So I'm gonna keep playing this, making videos explaining how you can modify and look, I got like my immigration is under control. I got my domestic approval going up. My military loves me. Left check.